Listen closely. There are moments in your life when everything feels uncertain, when doors close, people walk away, and the future looks foggy. But I tell you, in those very moments, something sacred is happening. You may not see it yet, but God is at work behind the scenes. He is aligning, arranging, and orchestrating details that you cannot comprehend. You might think you are being delayed, but you are being prepared. You might feel forgotten, but you are being positioned. Because when God helps you, His help is not loud. It is quiet, yet powerful. It moves through the ordinary moments and transforms them into divine appointments. When God begins to help you, the first thing that changes is not your circumstance, it's your spirit. Suddenly, a strange peace enters your heart. You may still be standing in the same storm, but your heart is no longer trembling. The winds are howling, but your spirit is steady. That's how God works. Before He changes what's around you, He strengthens what's within you. He gives you calmness that makes no sense to the human mind. You should be panicking, but you're not. You should be angry, but you're not. You should have given up, but something deep inside keeps whispering. Hold on, keep trusting. That whisper is not from you, it's from God. When you feel that peace in chaos, that quiet assurance in confusion, is the first sign that God is helping you. He is saying, you are not alone, I am here. The second sign that God is helping you is when He begins to separate you from certain people. At first, it will hurt. You'll ask, why did they leave? Why did this friendship break? Why did that opportunity close? But one day, you'll look back and thank God that it happened. Because not everyone is meant to walk with you into your next season. God knows who strengthens your spirit and who drains your energy. He knows who prays for you in silence and who envies you in secret. So He removes what you cannot see. He takes away those who smile at you but speak against you. And in that moment of loss, it feels like a pain, but later you realize it was protection. That's how God helps. He subtracts before He multiplies. He isolates before He elevates. When you find yourself alone, do not rush to fill the silence. Sometimes the silence is sacred. It's in that quiet space where God begins to rebuild your strength. He shows you what you could not see while surrounded by noise. He reveals who you really are without the opinions of others. He teaches you how to walk in alignment with Him. And once you learn to stand alone with God, you'll never again depend on the crowd. You realize that solitude with God is not loneliness, it is power. The third sign that God is helping you is that everything that once felt impossible start moving in strange ways. Doors open that you didn't knock on. People come into your life carrying answers to prayers you never spoke aloud. It's as if life begins to conspire in your favor. You see, when you walk with God, your steps become guided. You stop striving and start flowing. You don't chase opportunities. Opportunities begin to find you. This is not luck. This is not coincidence. This is divine orchestration. God has gone ahead of you, arranging what you need before you arrive. And when you see things begin to shift without your effort, that's a sign God's hand is upon your life. But remember this, When God starts helping you, the enemy also starts noticing you. Challenges will arise. Delays will come. Not because God has abandoned you, but because you are now on a higher path. The resistance you feel is not the punishment, it's a confirmation. You're getting closer to your breakthrough. You're walking into new territory. The pressure you feel is proof that you're being lifted. Do not mistake divine pressure for failure. God is stretching you to fit your next blessing. When life feels tight, it means expansion is near. The fourth sign that God is helping you is when He starts exposing truth. Suddenly, the mask falls off people. The lies that were hidden become clear. The situation that confused you begin to make sense. God doesn't want you living in illusion. He wants you rooted in reality. And sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes the truth breaks your heart. But it's through that truth that God frees you. He allows certain things to come to light so that you can be healed, not deceived. You see, deception is comfortable, but it's dangerous. Truth is painful, but it's liberating. And when God helps you, He always chooses your growth over your comfort. In those moments, when everything begins to fall apart, do not despair. It's not destruction, it's construction. God tears down what's fake so He can rebuild what's real. He removes pretenders to make space for destiny partners. He ends certain chapters so He can begin new ones. The exposure you face is divine cleansing. It's God saying, you've seen enough darkness, it's time for clarity. When He reveals truth, thank Him. Even when it hurts, thank Him. Because truth is the foundation of freedom. The fifth sign that God is helping you is when your faith is tested more than ever before. You'll notice that just when you decide to fully trust, everything seems to go wrong. But this is not a sign of God's absence. It's a test of your endurance. God is strengthening your faith muscles. He's teaching you how to believe even when nothing makes sense. When He's helping you, He allows moments that stretch your patience, moments that make you question everything. But deep down, you'll sense something powerful, an unexplainable determination to keep going. That determination is divine. It's God planting perseverance within you. When you learn to trust God in the dark, you gain a strength that cannot be shaken in the light. You start to understand that faith isn't about what you see, it's about what you know. You know that God has never failed you before, and He won't start now. Even when your prayers seem unanswered, your hope remains alive. That is how God helps you. He doesn't always remove the storm, but He gives you the courage to walk through it. And when you come out on the other side, you are no longer the same person. You are wiser, stronger, and more anchored in faith. The sixth sign that God is helping you is when your heart begins to forgive. You see, forgiveness is not weakness, it's spiritual victory. It's a sign that you are being elevated beyond the limits of pain. When God works in you, He gives to you the grace to release bitterness. You stop fighting with people in your mind. You stop replaying the hurt. You stop waiting for apologies. You simply let go. That's when you realize you're not forgiving for them, you're forgiving for your own freedom. Because every time you hold on to anger, it changes your spirit. But when you release it, you rise. God helps you by cleansing your heart of resentment. Because He knows you cannot move forward with a heavy heart. He knows that peace and bitterness cannot live in the same place. So He heals you through forgiveness. And when you forgive, something supernatural happens. Your energy returns, your focus sharpens, and your blessings start flowing again. The moment you let go of grudges, doors open that were once closed. That's not coincidence, it's divine alignment. A peaceful heart attracts divine favor. And finally, the seventh sign that God is helping you is that your spirit becomes unshakable. You reach a point where nothing can easily disturb you. The same things that used to break you now only strengthen your resolve. You stop explaining yourself to everyone. You stop seeking approval. You stop fearing loss. Because deep within, you know that as long as God is with you, you lack nothing. That unshakable confidence is not arrogance, it's divine assurance. It's the awareness that even if everything collapses, God will rebuild. When God helps you, He doesn't just fix your circumstances, He transforms your character. He builds patience, humility, wisdom, and endurance inside you. You begin to glow differently. You speak with clarity. You walk with peace. You carry authority that doesn't come from titles or possessions, but from the presence of God within you. People may not understand it, but they can feel it. You become a walking testimony that divine help is real. Understand this. When God helps you, it won't always look like help. Sometimes it will look like pain. Sometimes it will look like loss. Sometimes it will look like silence. But behind it all, there is divine purpose. The storm is not meant to destroy you, it's meant to shape you. The delay is not rejection, it's redirection. The loss is not punishment, it's preparation. God never takes without the intention to give more. He never closes a door without planning a greater one to open. So do not doubt when things fall apart. God might be rearranging the pieces to build something far greater than you imagined. Trust His timing, even when it feels slow. Trust His plan, even when it's hidden. Trust His love, even when it's silent. Because silence does not mean absence. Delay does not mean denial. Every moment you are kept waiting, God is working. Every moment you are tested, God is teaching. Every moment you are broken, God is building. When you look back on your life one day, you realize that the times you thought you were being abandoned were actually the times you were being carried. The seasons you called painful were the seasons that shaped your destiny. The people who left you made the space for divine appointments. The tears that fell watered the seeds of your future. Nothing was wasted. Everything was used. Because when God helps you, even the hardest moments are turned into holy moments. So walk with confidence, speak with faith, live with gratitude. For you are not alone. Even when the world misunderstands you, God understands. Even when others forget you, God remembers. Even when you lose everything, God remains. His help is constant, silent, and sure. You may not always see His hand, but you will always feel His guidance. And when you finally reach that place of peace where your heart is steady, your faith is firm, and your spirit is calm, you'll know without a doubt that it was God's help that carried you all along. His help that guided you through valleys. His help that sustained you in storms. His help that turned your pain into purpose. For every moment of confusion, He gave you wisdom. For every heartbreak, He gave you healing. For every loss, He gave you lessons. And for every ending, He gave you a new beginning. That is how God helps His people, not by sparing them from difficulty, but by strengthening them through it. You are not walking by accident. You are walking by design. You are not surviving by chance. You are surviving by divine help. Even now, as you listen, as you reflect, as you breathe, God is helping you, guiding your thoughts, calming your fears, preparing your way. Every breath is proof of His presence. Every heartbeat is evidence of His grace. And every challenge you face is an opportunity for His power to be revealed through you. Do not be afraid of what's ahead. The same God who helped you before will help you again. The same God who brought you through yesterday's storm will carry you through today's battle. You have nothing to fear because divine help does not expire. God's hand is steady. His plan is sure. His love is endless. And as long as you keep your heart open, your faith alive, and your spirit humble, God will continue to help you in ways that will leave you in awe. When you rise each morning, remind yourself, I am not walking alone. I am being guided. I am being strengthened. I am being helped. And even when I cannot see it, I know God is moving on my behalf. Because that's the truth. When God helps you, no power can stop you, no storm can break you, and no darkness can overtake you. His help is the unseen force that carries you through visible trials. It is the invisible hand that lifts you when you are weak. It is the eternal assurance that you are never alone. Even when you have nothing left but faith, that faith will be enough. Because with faith, you have the key to divine help. With faith, you open doors that fear could never unlock. With faith, you draw strength that logic cannot explain. And with faith, you move forward step by step, moment by moment, until everything that once seemed impossible become your living testimony. God is helping you. Not tomorrow, not one day, but right now, in this very moment, through every delay, every silence, every difficulty, He is with you. You may not feel it yet, but one day, when you look back, you will say with tears of gratitude, it was God all along. When God begins to help you, there comes a shift that is deeper than words, deeper than anything your eyes can see. It is a transformation that happens in your soul. You begin to notice that what once used to trouble you no longer carries the same power over your heart. You are no longer shaken by gossip, no longer distracted by delay, no longer intimidated by rejection. Why? Because you begin to recognize the invisible hand of God moving through all things. You begin to see that everything, both joy and pain, is serving a divine purpose. You start to live from a higher awareness, one that whispers, nothing can touch me unless God allows it for my good. That realization is divine maturity. It's the moment that you stop reacting to life and start responding with the faith. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start saying, what is God teaching me through this? That is the sign of one who walks under divine guidance. When you live in that awareness, you are no longer a victim of circumstance. You become a vessel of purpose. God begins to use every situation to refine you, not to ruin you. What seemed like an obstacle becomes an instrument of growth. What appeared as a loss becomes a lesson. That is how God helps those He loves. Not by shielding them from life's storms, but by giving them the wisdom to dance in the rain. There will be times when you will not feel strong enough to stand, but that's exactly when you will feel the most divine support. For God's help does not always arrive as a sudden miracle. It often comes as endurance. You will find yourself doing what you thought was impossible. You will rise from disappointments that should have destroyed you. You will speak words of faith even when tears are in your eyes. That strength is not human. It is holy. It is the strength that only God can pour into a soul that refuses to give up. When you begin to walk closely with God, your understanding of help changes. You realize that God's help is not always comfortable, it's corrective. He helps you by pruning away habits, people, and thoughts that no longer align with your destiny. And the pruning hurts. You will wonder why things are being taken away, why doors that looked perfect are closing, why certain opportunities are suddenly dissolving. But remember this, every no from God is a protection from what you cannot see. His rejection is redirection. His silence is strategy. When God helps you, He will remove what blocks your path, even if it's something you begged Him to keep. And while the world may see you in a season of loss, heaven sees you in a season of alignment. God is aligning your steps to bring you into perfect timing. You see, divine help is not about speed, it's about synchronization. It's not about rushing into what's next. It's about being ready for it. Many times, God's help comes disguised as waiting, because waiting teaches dependence. Waiting purifies motives. Waiting strengthens trust. If God gave you everything too soon, you would mistake His blessings for your own strength. But when you learn to wait, you learn to depend on the only source that never fails, God Himself. There will also come moments when you are misunderstood by others. People will not understand why you chose to walk away from certain things, why you refuse to retaliate, why you smile through trials. They will not understand because they cannot see what God has whispered to your soul. When you are helped by God, your perspective changes. You stop fighting for validation because you know that divine help does not need human applause. You stop chasing people because you realize that God's favor is more powerful than any connection. When God is for you, no one's opinion can block your path. And when you walk in that divine confidence, life takes on a new rhythm. You no longer panic when things fall apart because you trust that God is rearranging them. You no longer fear the unknown because you trust the one who knows all. You no longer cry over endings because you understand that every ending in the hands of God is the beginning of something greater. You live anchored in faith, unmoved by appearances, grounded in divine truth. But understand this deeply, God's help is not only external, it is internal. He does not just change situations, He changes hearts. He teaches you patience through people who test you. He builds humility through moments that humble you. He grows compassion through times when you yourself have been hurt. Every challenge carries divine intention. God uses pain as a teacher, disappointment as direction, and pressure as preparation. The weight you feel today is not meant to crush you, it's meant to strengthen the foundation for what He is building in you tomorrow. There is a beautiful mystery in how God helps His people. Often, He hides His greatest help inside your greatest hardship. When your plans collapse, He is teaching you to trust His plan. When friends betray you, He is showing you that His loyalty never fails. When you feel forgotten, He is inviting you to remember Him more deeply. Every valley has a divine voice if you listen with the ear of faith. And when you begin to understand this, your pain no longer feels meaningless, it feels purposeful. You begin to see divine fingerprints on every detail of your life. When God helps you, you also begin to notice that your desires start to change. What once attracted you no longer interests you. What once felt important begins to lose its hold. You become drawn to peace more than popularity, purpose more than possessions, truth more than attention. That's divine refinement. God is shaping your heart to value what matters eternally. He helps you by cleansing your spirit from the illusions of the world, so you can see with clarity what truly holds value. That shift in desire is one of the clearest signs of divine favor, because it means your soul is aligning with His will. And as that alignment deepens, your perception of success changes as well. You realize that success is not measured by applause, numbers, or wealth, but by inner peace, integrity, and obedience. When God helps you, He redefines what winning looks like. You may lose in the eyes of people, but you win in the eyes of heaven. You may be overlooked by men, but you are being prepared by God. You may walk a lonely road, but every step is sacred because it's leading you closer to the fulfillment of your purpose. There will come a time when you look back at the seasons you once feared, and you will see that those were the very seasons that molded your spirit. You'll see that the disappointments were blessings in disguise, that the detours were actually divine directions, that the heartbreaks were holy awakenings. You'll see that the help of God was never missing. It was simply mysterious. It was woven into every delay, hidden in every difficulty, and shining through every decision that led you closer to Him. God's help is not always dramatic. Sometimes it comes in a quiet moment of insight, a sudden sense of calm, a word that appears at the right time, or the strength to keep going when you thought you couldn't. It's those subtle touches that mark the presence of the divine. It's those unseen movements that carry the greatest miracles. For the most powerful help from God is often invisible. It transforms the heart before it changes the world around you. And when God helps you, He doesn't just restore what you lost, He multiplies it. What was taken from you is returned in greater measure. The opportunities that vanished are replaced with doors that no man can close. The people who walked away are replaced by those who truly value your spirit. God's help is abundant, it overflows. It doesn't just fix one area of your life, it renews your entire being. It's as if light floods every corner of your soul, washing away every trace of fear, doubt, and confusion. You may not see it now, but every challenge you are facing is proof that God is active in your story. Every closed door is a message that He's protecting you from what's beneath the surface. Every unanswered prayer is a sign that He's preparing something beyond your imagination. When you cannot trace His hand, trust His wisdom. When you cannot hear His voice, stand still and remember His silence. It's not absence, it's strategy. When God helps you, you begin to carry an energy that cannot be imitated. People sense peace when you enter a room. They feel strength in your words. You radiate calm even in chaos. That's what divine help looks like. When it takes form, it turns you into a vessel of grace, wisdom, and stability. You become living proof that with God's help, no wound is permanent, no mistake is final, and no loss is the end. And if you are listening right now, wondering if God is helping you, let this truth settle deep in your soul. The very fact that you are still standing is proof that He is. The very breath in your lungs is a sign of His mercy. The thoughts in your mind, the hope in your heart, the strength that keeps you trying, these are not random. They are evidence that divine help is sustaining you. You are being lifted even when you feel low. You are being guided even when you cannot see the path. You are being prepared even when you think you are forgotten. God's help is not distant, it is constant. It doesn't appear only in grand miracles. It lives in the quiet daily moments. It's in the wisdom to make the right choice, the patience to endure, the courage to forgive, the humility to learn, and the faith to keep walking. Every day that you choose hope over despair, faith over fear, and gratitude over bitterness, you are cooperating with divine help. And that's the ultimate secret. God does not force His help upon you. He partners with your willingness. When you choose to believe, you open the gate to blessings. When you choose to trust, you unlock divine flow. When you choose to surrender, you allow His power to move freely. So, if you want to see more of His help, keep your heart soft, your spirit humble, and your faith unshaken. There will always be noise around you, voices of doubt, fear, and distraction. But when you stay anchored in the stillness of God's presence, nothing can uproot you. You will move through life with a strength that cannot be explained. You will carry peace in the middle of a battle. You will shine light even in the darkest moments. And that is the mark of a person being helped by God. Nothing external controls them anymore because their help flows from within, from the divine source that never runs dry. So rise with confidence, speak with faith, walk with purpose, and remember, every step, every struggle, every silent prayer is being noticed by God. You are not moving in circles. You are moving in divine rhythm. You are not surviving by chance. You are sustained by divine help. Even when everything looks still, the unseen hand of God is writing your next chapter. And one day soon, you will understand why every delay, every tear, and every closed door was necessary, for it was all leading you here to this sacred truth. God was helping you all along. And now, as your heart reflects on all these words, let this truth echo within you. God has never stopped helping you. From the moment you took your first breath to this very second, His invisible hand has been guiding every turn, every decision, every season of your life. You may have thought you are walking alone, but look back closely. The footprints beside yours were never your own. Every fall you survived, every battle you overcame, every sleepless night that didn't destroy you, it was because God carried you through it. His help is not something you earn. It is something you live under when your heart is surrendered and your faith is alive. So when you wake tomorrow, do not wake in fear, wake in faith. Say within yourself, today I will not be shaken. for my help comes from God. And as you go through your day, remember that divine help is not waiting to arrive, it's already present. It's in your breath, in your courage, in your endurance, in your peace. The same God who protected you yesterday is strengthening you today and preparing you for what's coming tomorrow. You are surrounded by His wisdom, wrapped in His mercy, and guided by His purpose. Do not be deceived by appearances. Even if you see no sign, even if you hear no sound, God is working. He is rearranging the unseen. He is writing chapters you have not yet read. And one day, when you look back at this very season, you will smile with the tears of understanding and whisper, that was the moment God was helping me the most. So stand tall, keep your faith alive, let your heart rest in peace, because you are not alone, not for a single moment. God is with you, helping, healing, guiding, and preparing you for the greatness that awaits. And as long as you walk with Him, you will never fall beyond His reach. Every sunrise will carry new strength. Every trial will birth new wisdom. And every ending will open the door to a greater beginning. You are covered, you are chosen, and you are being helped right now in ways beyond your understanding. Trust it, breathe it, live it, and let your life become a living testimony of what happens when a soul surrenders to the unfailing help of God. Listen carefully. What you are going through right now is not the end. It is the preparation. The heaviness in your heart, the exhaustion in your mind, the tears that no one sees, God sees them all. You may think you are standing in the middle of chaos, but I tell you today, you are standing on holy ground. Because when stress begins to press you, when life begins to crush you, that is when God begins to create something extraordinary out of you. The pressure you feel is not punishment. It is divine preparation. God is not ignoring your pain. He is transforming it into purpose. He is about to take that very thing that caused you sleepless nights and turn it into the door that leads you to your destiny. You see, when stress surrounds you, it feels like your life is spinning out of control. You try to fix everything, but nothing seems to work. You feel weak, powerless, frustrated. Yet, God allows such moments not to break you, but to build you. Stress is often the soil where God plants the seed of your greatest blessing. It may not look like a blessing right now, but soon you will see that every sleepless night, every anxious thought, every tear you shed was watering a seed you couldn't see. God never wastes stress. He uses it as His holy tool to shape the person who will carry the blessing He is preparing. When you look at your life right now, you might see confusion. You might see delay. You might see doors that closed in your face, people who betrayed you, and dreams that seem too far away. But from the throne of heaven, God sees alignment. He sees timing. He sees protection. He knows that if He had given you the blessing before you learned how to handle pressure, it would have destroyed you. So instead of removing the stress, God uses it to refine your faith. He allows you to be pressed so that what is pure, strong, and faithful inside of you can rise to the surface. You see, when a seed is buried in the ground, it is covered by darkness, by weight, by pressure. But in that very darkness, life begins. If the seed could talk, it would say, "Why is everything so heavy? Why is everything so dark?" But it doesn't realize it is not being buried, it is being planted. And in time, the same soil that covered it becomes the foundation that nourishes it. That is how God works in your life. The stress you feel right now is not the soil of your burial, it is the soil of your breakthrough. You are not being crushed to die, you are being pressed to grow. God never promised you a life without stress, but He did promise to turn every pain into purpose. When the weight becomes too much to bear, that is when you must look up. Because the moment you surrender the stress to God, He turns it into strength. The moment you stop trying to control everything, He takes control and leads you to peace. God has not abandoned you. He is closer now than ever. Every time you whispered to Him, "God, I can't take this anymore," He was not silent. He was preparing. You were crying over what was ending, but God was rejoicing over what was beginning. You see, many people misunderstand stress. They think it means something is wrong with them or that God has turned away. But often, stress is the divine signal that God is about to shift something in your life. The greater the stress, the greater the blessing that follows. The pressure is proof that something holy is forming. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is purified by fire. Strong trees grow against the wind. In the same way, your spirit grows stronger when stress presses against you. You may feel like breaking, but God is using that very tension to stretch your faith and enlarge your capacity to receive more from Him. When you look back over your life, you will see it clearly. Every stressful season became the stepping stone to your next level. The times you thought you would never make it were the very moments when God was teaching you resilience. The days you cried alone were the days God was fortifying your character. He does not allow storms without purpose. Every delay, every disappointment, every sleepless night, they are divine instruments working together to position you exactly where He wants you to be. So, don't curse your stress, transform it into prayer. Don't run from your pressure, use it to push you closer to God. When your mind feels overwhelmed, that is not the time to quit. It is the time to surrender. Because the moment you stop fighting in your own strength and start trusting in God's plan, peace begins to flood your soul. God never said life would be easy, but He did say He would turn all things for good. The stress you feel now will soon be the testimony you tell others. The very pain that once made you question your faith will become the story that strengthens it. Listen, God does not allow stress without a reason. He is intentional. Every situation that drains you, every obstacle that frustrates you, every burden that seems too heavy, all of it is under His control. He knows exactly how much you can carry. He knows how to stretch you without breaking you. He knows when to stop the storm and when to let it rage just long enough for you to discover the strength He placed inside of you. And when He sees that you have learned to trust Him in the chaos, He will calm the waves and lift you into blessing. Your blessing is not coming from the outside, it is being formed within you. That's why stress feels so heavy. You are birthing something powerful. Just like a woman in labor experiences pain before she holds the miracle in her hands, you too are enduring labor pains of your destiny. God is about to deliver something through your life that will bring Him glory. And when it arrives, you will forget the pain of this season. The joy that's coming will be greater than the stress you have endured. The tears you've cried will be turned into laughter, and the anxiety that once consumed you will be replaced by peace so deep you'll know it was only God who could have done it. Do not think God has forgotten you. He has heard every prayer. He has seen every effort. He has collected every tear. Right now, He is aligning things behind the scenes. You may not see it yet, but heaven is moving on your behalf. The same God who turned deserts into rivers is about to turn your stress into a flood of blessings. The doors that seem closed are about to open effortlessly. The relationships that caused pain are about to be replaced by peace. The opportunities that passed you by are about to return multiplied. God is about to show you that nothing in your life was wasted. Not 1 ounce of pain, not 1 drop of stress. Sometimes God delays your blessing because He's preparing it to fit your future, not your past. He will not give you something that belongs to the old version of you. That's why He uses stress to stretch you, to prepare you for the weight of new blessings. He's changing your mindset, your habits, your attitude, because what He's bringing requires maturity. Don't misinterpret the process. What feels like stress is actually divine remodeling. God is tearing down old walls so He can build something better. Soon, the same situations that used to stress you will not even shake you. The same people that once got under your skin will no longer have power over your peace. You will walk through storms with calm confidence because you'll know God is in control. The maturity you gain through this season will make you unshakable. You will no longer panic when life becomes uncertain because your faith will rest in the certainty of God's power. And when others see how you stand strong under pressure, they will ask you, how do you do it? And you will say, it was God. You see, peace is not the absence of stress. Peace is the presence of trust. And God is using your current stress to teach you divine trust. He's teaching you to let go, to rest, to believe that He is working even when nothing seems to move. And when you reach that place of surrender, when you no longer rely on your own strength, that's when the floodgates of blessings open. God does not release great blessings into anxious hearts. He releases them into trusting ones. That's why this season is not about what you can control. It's about what you can surrender. When your heart finally says, God, I trust you even when I don't understand, heaven begins to shift in your favor. Things you have prayed for will suddenly align. What once took years to build will come together in moments, because faith accelerates what stress delays. The moment you trade your anxiety for trust, God multiplies your blessing. He never fails to honor the one who chooses peace in the middle of pressure. Every time you choose to stay calm, to keep believing, to stay faithful, even when everything looks impossible, you are sowing seeds of future blessings. God sees every act of patience. He sees every time you wanted to quit but didn't. and He will reward you openly for the faith you practiced in private. Soon, you will walk into blessings that will make sense of everything you went through. You will look back and say, if it hadn't been for that stress, I wouldn't have grown this much. If it hadn't been for that pain, I wouldn't have discovered my purpose. If it hadn't been for that storm, I wouldn't have learned to trust God so deeply. This is your turning point. You are standing on the edge of divine reversal. The things that once made you cry will soon make you grateful. The burdens that seemed unbearable will become the proof of God's faithfulness. Do not despise your current stress. It is a bridge, not a barrier. It is carrying you to a new level of peace, prosperity, and purpose. God is not just going to remove your stress, He's going to reward you because of it. He's going to restore your strength, your energy, your joy, and your confidence. He's going to show you that everything you went through was leading you here to the season of divine turnaround. When you are under pressure, when the storms of life surround you, and the weight on your heart feels unbearable, that is when you must understand God is not destroying you, He is defining you. The intensity of your stress is not a sign that God has withdrawn. It is a sign that His hand is upon you, molding you, shaping you, refining you for a greater purpose. God often works silently in seasons of struggle because His greatest works are done in hidden places. You may not see it, but God is building a foundation so deep that when He raises you, no wind will ever shake you again. There are times when you pray for peace, yet God allows more pressure. You ask for rest, yet more responsibility comes. You plead for answers, yet silence surrounds you. But this is the way of divine wisdom. God is teaching you how to remain calm in chaos, how to trust when you cannot trace, and how to walk by faith when sight fails you. He wants you to learn the art of divine patience, the strength that waits without fear, the calm that believes even when nothing seems to move. Stress is not the enemy. It is the classroom where God trains your soul to be steady under pressure. There is a secret hidden within your stress. It is the voice of God calling you to deeper surrender. When everything in your life feels uncertain, God is saying, "Be still. Let me be your certainty." When you are exhausted from carrying burdens that are too heavy, God is saying, "Lay them down. Let me carry you." God does not want you to live anxious, worried, or fearful. He wants you to live anchored, trusting that even when life shakes, He remains unshaken. When you reach that point of surrender, stress loses its power. It no longer controls you. It refines you. You no longer live reacting to problems. You live responding to peace. Many people waste their stress by complaining about it. But the wise turn their stress into prayer. The faithful turn it into worship. They say, "God, I don't understand this pain, but I trust your plan." And when you speak like that, you move the heavens. You shift the atmosphere around your life, because faith that remains under pressure becomes unstoppable. That is why the enemy tries to use stress to silence your prayer, to weaken your focus, to drain your hope. But if you will stand firm, if you will keep your heart open to God in the middle of your storm, that same stress will become the force that drives you into your destiny. You are not breaking. You are breaking through. You are not losing, you are learning. You are not forgotten, you are being prepared. Every challenge, every obstacle, every heavy moment is preparing you to carry something greater. God will not allow you to face a pressure that is not connected to your purpose. Every burden has a blessing hidden within it. You may not see it now, but when the season changes, you will look back and realize that stress was the turning point. You will say, that pressure taught me who God really is. That pain taught me how strong I really am. That storm revealed the peace that only God could give. The blessing that is coming to your life is so great that requires this level of stress to prepare you. The doors that God is about to open need you to be emotionally strong, spiritually wise, and mentally grounded. You cannot walk into that blessing carrying the same fears and habits that once held you back. That is why God is allowing this pressure. It is cleansing your faith, removing your dependence on people, and making you rely only on Him. Soon you will realize that stress was not a curse, but a cleansing fire, burning away what was weak so that only strength could remain. Do not envy those who appear to have it easy. You do not know the weight of their story, and they do not know the glory that is forming in yours. God is doing something in you that comfort could never create. You are learning endurance, discipline, and faith, qualities that cannot be developed in calm waters. God sometimes takes you through storms so that you can learn how to command peace within yourself. When others panic, you will stand firm. When others give up, you will press on. Because your strength is no longer rooted in circumstances. It is rooted in the unchanging power of God. Every storm runs out of rain. Every night eventually gives way to morning. Every burden, no matter how heavy, has an expiration date. The stress you feel now is not permanent, it is seasonal. And when God decides that the season has fulfilled its purpose, He will lift the weight, restore your joy, and reward your endurance. The moment of relief will come, and it will come suddenly. You will wake up one day and realize that what used to trouble your mind no longer has control. The doors that were shut will swing open. The confusion that clouded your thoughts will clear, and you will see that God had been working all along, even in silence. When God brings you into blessing, He will make it clear that it was not luck, not coincidence, not people, but Him. Because He wants you to know that the peace you will soon feel, not from the removal of problems, but from His divine presence in your soul. That is true transformation, not a change of circumstances, but a change of spirit. God will make you so strong that even if the same storms come again, they will not move you. You will have learned to stand in faith, not in fear. There are times when you will feel as if life is stretching you beyond your limits. You will say, God, I can't handle this anymore. But the truth is you can, because God is in you, and He will not allow more than you can bear. The stretching is uncomfortable, but it is necessary. When God expands your capacity, He also expands your blessing. If you only knew what He is preparing, you would understand why the pressure is so intense. The blessing that is coming will not fit into the old version of you. God is enlarging your heart, your patience, your faith, so that you can carry it without breaking. Some of you are standing at the edge of your miracle, but the stress makes it hard to see. You are tempted to quit, to give up, to walk away. But don't. The darkest part of the night is just before the dawn. When your strength is gone, that is when God's strength begins. You may be tired, but do not stop. You may be weary, but do not give up. Every step you take in faith, even when you feel weak, moves you closer to your blessing. And soon, when the breakthrough comes, you will understand that your persistence was the key that unlocked the door. Remember this: stress cannot destroy you when your faith is anchored in God. Storms may shake you, but they cannot sink you when your heart trusts the one who controls the waves. The moment you shift your focus from fear to faith, stress loses its power. What was once a mountain before you becomes a lesson beneath you. You begin to rise above your circumstances, carried by divine strength. And in that elevation, you see life differently. You realize that the same storm that threatened to drown you was the wind God used to lift you higher. God is about to turn your confusion into clarity. He is about to turn your worry into wisdom. He is about to take what the enemy meant to destroy you and use it to develop you. Every sleepless night is being recorded. Every prayer, whispered through tears, is being answered in the unseen. Do not think your faith is wasted. God never ignores a believing heart. Even when you feel forgotten, heaven is writing your story. And soon, you will witness the chapter where the tears end and the blessings begin. You are entering a season where your peace will not depend on what happens around you, but on what happens within you. God is building a peace so deep that no external force can touch it. The noise of the world will not disturb your calm, because your soul will be rooted in divine trust. When you reach this place, you will understand that stress was the tool that led you here. It taught you how to rest in God, how to believe without proof, how to smile without reason, how to stay hopeful even when everything looks impossible. There will come a time when you will thank God for the stress that once broke your spirit, because you will realize it was the very thing that pushed you into purpose. You will no longer resent the trials. You will see them as teachers. You will no longer fear uncertainty. You will embrace it as divine design. Because now you will know God was never against you. He was always for you, working, building, preparing, turning everything meant for harm into holy transformation. There is something sacred about the season of stress. It is not simply chaos. It is divine construction. When God allows pressure to enter your life, He is not punishing you, He is positioning you. He is taking the scattered pieces of your journey and rearranging them into a masterpiece that only His wisdom can design. The problem is that we often judge God's work too early. We look at the incomplete picture and cry out, "Why is this happening to me?" But God sees the full portrait and He whispers, "Wait, I am still painting." The brushstrokes of stress are not random. They are the marks of divine intention. Every delay, every disappointment, every moment of exhaustion is part of a greater pattern that your eyes cannot yet see. When you walk with God, you must understand that not everything painful is evil. Sometimes what hurts the most is what heals the deepest. God allows tension to test your trust, and the measure of your peace reveals the maturity of your faith. When life feels like it's pressing against you, it is really pressing something out of you. Fear, pride, control, doubt. God uses stress to cleanse your soul from everything that would have weakened your destiny. You prayed for strength, and God answered by sending pressure. You prayed for growth, and He allowed discomfort. You prayed for a new level, and He required you to pass through a storm. You see, blessings are built on endurance, and endurance can only be formed in the furnace of stress. There are people who try to escape every challenge, but they end up escaping their own greatness. Because without stress, faith remains shallow. Without resistance, character stays weak. Without pressure, purpose stays dormant. God allows stress not to destroy you, but to awaken you, to remind you that your power comes not from your control, but from your surrender. When your mind is heavy and your heart is weary, that is not the end. That is the sacred call to lean on God more deeply. Stress is God's invitation to come closer, to stop running, to stop relying on your own strength, and to say, God, you are all I have, and that is enough. And when you speak those words, not as a prayer of panic, but as a declaration of faith, something shifts. The storm does not always end immediately, but your soul rises above it. You begin to experience a peace that no circumstance can take away. The same that once threatened to drown you become the very platform that lifts you higher. Because the moment you trust that God is in control, the storm loses its power to control you. Think about this. Every great person of faith went through a season of deep stress before they stepped into divine success. God never raises anyone without refining them first. The process of refinement is never comfortable, but it is always necessary. When God refines you, He strips away everything that cannot stand the weight of the blessing He is about to release. That is why some friendships end, some plans fail, and some doors close. God is not depriving you, He is protecting you. He removes what is temporary so He can give you what is eternal. And though the removal causes stress, the end result is strength. Stress reveals who you truly are when comfort is taken away. When everything is easy, faith can hide behind convenience. But when pressure comes, your heart's foundation is exposed. Do you crumble, or do you cling to God? Do you complain, or do you commit? The answers to these questions decide the size of your future blessing. Because God blesses those who stand firm when the winds blow, who keep believing when evidence disappears, who keep moving when the road seems invisible. That kind of faith is what moves the mountains. God is not asking you to understand everything right now. He is asking you to trust. Faith does not require explanation. It requires endurance. You may not see what God is doing, but you can be sure He is doing something. Every breath you take in the middle of stress is a testimony of His sustaining power. If stress had the authority to destroy you, you wouldn't still be here. But you are. That means God still has work to do in you and through you. You are still in His plan, still under His protection, still within His purpose. The storm cannot cancel what God has decreed. Do not be deceived by temporary feelings. Stress will try to convince you that everything is falling apart, but in truth, everything is falling into place. The human eye sees disorder, God sees design. The human mind sees pressure, God sees preparation. The human heart feels pain, God feels potential. He knows exactly what He's doing with you, even when you don't. And when His timing arrives, the very things that caused you pain will become the foundation of your peace. Remember this, stress is not always a sign that something is wrong. Sometimes it's a sign that something powerful is being born. Just as a child cannot come into the world without pain, your destiny cannot come forth without pressure. Birth always involves stretching, and spiritual birth is no different. You are being stretched so that you can carry more. Give more, become more. And though it feels painful now, one day you will look back and say, it was worth it. You will realize that God was expanding your spirit to hold blessings beyond what you could have imagined. The world teaches you to avoid stress, to escape discomfort, to chase convenience. But God teaches you to stand firm, to be still, to trust that His strength is made perfect when yours runs out. The stress that seems unbearable is producing something eternal in you. It is producing wisdom, compassion, and spiritual authority. People who have never walked through stress cannot understand deep peace. But those who have cried, struggled, and still chosen to believe, they carry a power that cannot be explained, only felt. They become lights in dark places, vessels through which God's peace flows. And this is what God is doing in you right now. He is preparing you to be a carrier of peace in a world full of chaos. That is why He is training you under pressure, to give you calm in crisis, faith in confusion, and hope in despair. When others collapse under the same weight, you will stand tall. Not because you are stronger, but because your strength comes from a divine source. And that strength, once tested, cannot be shaken. Soon, everything that once caused you stress will serve you. The problems that once intimidated you will now equip you. The experiences that once broke you will now bless others through you. Because God does not waste any experience. Every stress, every struggle, every sleepless night, He recycles them into wisdom, empathy, and purpose. You will become a living testimony that God can turn pressure into power, pain into peace, and stress into success. Do not rush this season. God's timing is perfect. If He has not removed the pressure yet, it's because there's still something precious being formed inside of you. Just as the night cannot rush the dawn, you cannot rush divine timing. The blessing that God is preparing for you will not come a second too late or too soon. It will come at the perfect moment. And when it comes, you will understand that the weight, the stress, the tears were all a part of the story that makes the blessing even sweeter. So today, instead of resisting the pressure, embrace it with trust. Tell your heart, God is working even when I cannot see. Speak peace over your mind. Speak strength over your spirit, and walk forward with quiet confidence. Because the God who created the heavens and the earth is not confused about your life. He has measured every detail, calculated every moment, and planned every outcome. He is about to turn your stress into an overflowing blessing that will not only lift you, but inspire everyone around you. And when that moment comes, you will not boast in your strength. You will glorify God's wisdom. You will say, it was His plan all along. What I thought was breaking me was actually building me. What I thought was stress was actually the seed of my greatest blessing. And the peace that follows will be beyond understanding, flowing like a river that never runs dry, because it was born not from the absence of trouble, but from the presence of trust. So hold on with unshakable faith. Keep your heart steady, your spirit humble, your eyes on God, for the same God who turned despair into hope for those before you will do the same for you. And when He does, you will stand not as one who merely survived stress, but as one who was transformed by it, refined, renewed, and ready for the greatness that has been waiting all along. There are moments in life when you look around and realize not everyone who smiles at you carries light in their soul. Some people look pure on the surface, but deep within there is darkness that breeds deceit, envy, and destruction. Evil is not always loud. Evil can wear perfume. Evil can speak softly. Evil can sit beside you at your table and still be plotting your downfall. So today, I must tell you with a voice filled with fire from God, you must learn how to spot an evil person before they destroy the destiny that God has placed in your life. There are those who drain you not because you wronged them, but because they cannot stand the light of God inside you. They sense your purpose. They feel your divine calling, and it irritates the demons within them. Evil people are not defined by their looks. They are defined by their spirit. And when your spirit walks with God, you begin to discern what the naked eye cannot see. My friend, not every person who shakes your hand is sent by God. Some are sent to delay, distract, and destroy. The most dangerous evil is not in the world around you. It is in the hearts of those who hide behind masks. They will say, I am with you, but their actions will say otherwise. Evil people are actors on the stage of life, pretending to support you while secretly rejoicing in your pain. And until you open your spiritual eyes, you will keep inviting them into your inner circle, wondering why your peace is gone and your energy is drained. When God wants to bless you, He sends people. But when the enemy wants to destroy you, he also sends people. That's why discernment is not an option. It is a necessity. You cannot just look at someone's words. You must feel their spirit. Because a wicked person can mimic kindness, they can imitate humility, but they cannot fake divine peace. Evil souls carry restlessness. Their presence feels heavy. Their words feel manipulative. And their energy leaves confusion instead of clarity. Evil does not always come with violence. Sometimes it comes in silence. It hides behind smiles, flattery, and fake concern. When an evil person speaks, there's a subtle undertone, an unspoken desire to see you fail, a quiet pleasure when you suffer. They disguise jealousy as advice and hatred as honesty. They will say, I'm only being real with you, but their realism is laced with poison. Watch carefully, because the devil never comes as a monster. He comes as comfort. He comes as understanding. He comes as the person you least expect. An evil person cannot stand the progress of others. The moment God lifts you, their true colors begin to surface. They suddenly grow distant. They stop celebrating you. Their smiles become thinner. They speak less about your blessings and more about your flaws. They look for mistakes to discredit your growth. You must understand, evil cannot coexist with divine favor. The brighter your light shines, the more their darkness is exposed. That is why sometimes God allows certain people to turn against you. Not because He wants to hurt you, but because He wants to reveal who they really are. When someone consistently tries to make you doubt yourself, that's not correction. That's corruption. Evil people are masters at twisting your confidence into guilt. They make you apologize for your light. They make you question your worth. They make you shrink your spirit to make them feel comfortable. But listen to me, when God created you, He never intended for you to dim your light for anyone. And any person who feels threatened by your light is not of God. Evil is clever. It moves with strategy. It studies your weaknesses. It pretends to love your strengths. Evil will never attack you openly. It will whisper, manipulate, and slowly poison your trust. They will call you brother, sister, friend, while their spirit plots against your peace. But God gives signs. You will feel discomfort. You will feel drained. You will sense something is off. Never ignore that inner signal. That is God warning you that an evil presence is near. There is a heaviness that evil people carry. When they enter a room, peace leaves. You may not understand why, but suddenly you feel anxious, irritated, or tired. That is spiritual warfare. You must be sensitive enough to recognize that not every human presence is harmless. Evil people carry invisible toxins, not physical ones, but spiritual ones that contaminate the atmosphere. You walk away from them and feel like you've lost your joy. That's not coincidence. That's contamination. Protect your peace with prayer and distance. Evil thrives in access, but loses its power when ignored. You can spot an evil person by what they celebrate. When someone laughs at another's failure, when they find joy in gossip, when they feed off other people's pain, that is evil disguised as entertainment. Godly souls mourn for others. Evil souls mock others. Watch what makes them happy, and you'll know what kind of heart they have. Because darkness delights in destruction, but light rejoices in restoration. Another sign of evil is manipulation through guilt. Evil people will twist your kindness into obligation. They'll say, after everything I've done for you, not because they care, but because they want control, they keep score, not out of love, but to keep you bound in debt. Evil thrives on emotional leverage. It uses your compassion as a weapon against you. But God never blesses manipulation. He blesses sincerity, humility, and truth. Evil people rarely take responsibility. They deflect, project, and accuse. When caught, they turn the tables, making the victim look guilty. They live in denial because accepting truth would mean facing judgment. They cannot repent because pride blinds them. And yet, they present themselves as righteous. That's why you must never judge people by how religious they sound or how humble they appear. Judge them by the fruit of their life. Because even a tree that stands tall can be rotten at the root. An evil person cannot keep peace for long. Their relationships collapse. Their friendships turn bitter. Their homes are filled with arguments. They carry chaos wherever they go because their spirit is unsettled. Evil cannot sustain harmony. It thrives only in conflict. Watch closely. If someone's presence constantly brings division, confusion, or pain, that is not just a personality issue. That is a spiritual issue. God is not the author of confusion. So anyone who continually breeds it is walking far from his light. Evil people are often attracted to the kind-hearted. They see compassion as weakness, mercy as opportunity. That's why the kindest souls are often the most wounded. You were targeted not because you were foolish, but because your heart was pure. Evil cannot survive where there is love, so it tries to corrupt love from within. But God will never allow pure hearts to remain broken forever. He exposes evil in time. Every hidden agenda will come to light when the season of revelation arrives. The key to spotting evil is not suspicion. It is discernment. Suspicion comes from fear. Discernment comes from God. Suspicion judges without evidence. Discernment feels what the eyes cannot see. It's that divine awareness that whispers to your spirit, something is not right here. Never silence that voice. Never reason away your intuition when God is speaking through it. Evil is patient. It waits for moments of weakness. But those who walk with God are never without warning. Evil speaks much, but says little. It flatters, but never uplifts. It promises, but never delivers. It surrounds you when you have something to offer, then disappears when you need help. It is loyal to benefit, not to relationship. Evil does not know the meaning of sacrifice. And yet, God allows such people to cross your path, not to destroy you, but to teach you wisdom. Every evil encounter carries a divine lesson to protect your boundaries, to strengthen your faith, to sharpen your discernment. Sometimes the most dangerous evil hides behind victimhood. They will play the role of the wounded one, always misunderstood, always wronged, always innocent. But behind that self-pity is manipulation, a calculated move to make you their rescuer. And the moment you rescue them, they drain your energy, twist your words, and leave you feeling guilty for caring. That's the trap of false compassion. Love does not mean allowing evil access to your peace. You can forgive without returning. You can pray for them without reconnecting. Do not mistake sympathy for spiritual duty. God does not call you to save evil. He calls you to separate from it. There are people you must love from afar. There are hearts you must release so yours can heal. Evil people are addicted to attention. The moment you stop feeding them your energy, they lose their grip. Silence becomes your shield. Distance becomes your deliverance. Because evil cannot survive where it is no longer entertained. Evil hates boundaries because boundaries expose their intentions. When you start saying no, when you stop explaining, when you stop defending your peace, the mask of evil begins to crack. They will call you selfish, proud, or ungrateful. Not because you are wrong, but because you are no longer under their control. Do not be afraid when people mislabel you for protecting your soul. God sees the truth. And the truth is, protecting your peace is not pride, It is obedience. Evil thrives on secrecy. It fears exposure. That's why God sometimes shakes your life. Not to harm you, but to reveal what was hidden. When relationships suddenly end, when friends turn distant, when truth starts surfacing. Don't panic. That's not chaos, that's cleansing. God removes people not to punish you, but to purify your path. And when He exposes evil, don't run back out of pity. When God shows you who someone really is, believe it. One of the surest ways to spot evil is through patterns. Evil may change its words, but never its behavior. They repeat the same lies, because the same pain create the same drama. Because they never truly change. God gives everyone a chance to repent, but an evil heart refuses correction. They justify their actions, twist your forgiveness, and continue their deception. But you must not let compassion blind you to reality. Mercy without wisdom becomes bondage. When God dwells within you, your spirit becomes sensitive. You begin to see beyond words, beyond appearances. You will notice inconsistencies. When someone's tone doesn't match their message, when their praise feels hollow, when their kindness feels forced, that is not paranoia, that is spiritual perception. God gives His people eyes to see what others ignore. Use them. Don't be afraid to trust what you feel when your spirit senses danger. Evil people cannot celebrate truth. They feel uncomfortable around integrity. They shift topics when confronted with righteousness. They prefer gossip to gratitude, criticism to confession. They are allergic to accountability. Their ego is their God. They crave power, not peace. And yet, their downfall always comes through their own pride. God's justice may be silent, but it is never absent. Every evil deed carries its own destruction. You don't have to fight them. Time and truth will expose them. The greatest victory over evil is not revenge, it is release. You defeat evil not by shouting at it, but by refusing to host it. When you stop reacting, when you walk away without hate, when you bless and move on, evil loses its grip because its power depends on your response. Don't waste energy fighting shadows. Focus on walking in light. God will handle what you cannot. Your role is to stay pure, stay aware, and stay peaceful. Evil may look like it wins for a moment, but God always has the final word. There are people who betrayed you and think they got away, but time will reveal that they only betrayed themselves. God is not mocked. What is sown in deceit will be reaped in destruction. What was stolen will be restored. What was meant to harm, you will become your promotion. Because when evil plots, God plans, and His plan always overrides every demonic intention. If you want to spot an evil person, listen to how they speak about others when those people are not present. If they gossip with you, they will gossip about you. If they celebrate others' pain, they will celebrate yours. Their loyalty ends when benefit ends. Godly people protect others in their absence. Evil people destroy reputations for entertainment. Watch the tongue. It is the mirror of the heart. Evil disguises itself well, but it cannot hide forever. It may take months or years, but truth has a sound that cannot be silenced. Every mask will eventually slip. Every lie will eventually contradict itself. God has a way of revealing what was meant to remain hidden. So do not rush justice. Let time do what your anger cannot. God's timing exposes with precision. My friend, your greatest weapon against evil is spiritual alignment with God. When your heart stays pure, God Himself becomes your shield. Evil cannot manipulate a spirit anchored in divine wisdom. That's why you must pray for discernment daily. Not everyone who approaches you is meant to stay. Some are assignments from darkness, distractions in disguise. Ask God to filter your circle. Ask Him to remove who cannot go with you into your next season. You must remember this truth. Evil never enters loudly. It seeps in quietly. It starts as flattery, disguised as care, disguised as empathy. But eventually, it demands, controls, and destroys. Protect your gates, your eyes, your ears, your heart. What you entertain will soon enter. What you tolerate will soon dominate. And what you ignore will soon corrupt. Guard your spirit fiercely, because evil is subtle but persistent. Evil is not just in others. Sometimes it hides in ourselves. Pride, bitterness, envy, hatred. These are seeds of the same darkness we condemn in others. If you want to spot evil, start by removing its traces from your own heart. The more you purify your soul, the clearer you will see it in others. God reveals the external when the internal is cleansed. Evil cannot fool a heart that has been refined in truth. Evil people may walk freely, but they live bound. Their mind is restless, their conscience heavy, their nights sleepless. Do not envy them. Do not wish them harm. Simply let them go. Because in due season, God's justice will visit every deceitful soul. Your duty is not to fight evil with evil, but to rise above it through divine wisdom, silence, and peace. You overcome not by retaliation, but by revelation, by knowing who they are and walking away with dignity. Evil people do not always reveal themselves through open hatred. Sometimes they reveal themselves through false kindness. There is a kindness that comes from the heart, and there is a kindness that comes from calculation. When the heart is aligned with God, kindness flows without expectation. But when the heart is driven by evil, kindness becomes a weapon, a tool to gain trust and to manipulate the innocent. You must learn to watch not only what people give, but why they give. The intention behind an action is often more revealing than the action itself. Evil can give gifts, but the gift will come with a string. It will look generous, but it will carry control. That is why you must let God sharpen your discernment, so that you do not mistake bait for blessing. The most dangerous people are not those who openly oppose you. They are the ones who secretly envy you while pretending to support you. Envy is the silent root of evil. It grows unseen, but produces fruits of betrayal, deceit, and sabotage. You must never underestimate the power of jealousy. It can turn a friend into an enemy, a helper into a destroyer, a companion into a competitor. When God begins to favor you, the evil around you becomes restless. Those who once applauded your rise may begin to resent your success. But do not fear this exposure, for God is revealing hearts, and every revelation is a protection. When evil people cannot destroy your reputation, they will try to destroy your peace. They will whisper, provoke, and criticize. They will accuse you of arrogance when you are confident, and of weakness when you are humble. Their goal is not to understand you, but to unsettle you. They feed on chaos because their spirit cannot survive in calm. But you must remain unshaken. Do not engage in arguments with those who thrive on negativity. When you respond, you feed them. When you stay silent, you starve them. Let your peace be your protest. Let your stillness be your strength. For silence in the face of evil is not weakness, it is wisdom. Evil people are often skilled in words. They know how to twist truth into confusion. They know how to make lies sound logical. They study your emotions to find your buttons, and once they find them, they press them to control you. That is why you must anchor your mind in the presence of God. When your spirit is grounded in truth, deception cannot easily sway you. When your faith is rooted in God's light, you will sense falsehood before it even speaks. Evil people love to test boundaries. God teaches you how to stand firm. They will keep pushing until you break. But if you stand in divine strength, their pressure will become your training ground. Another mark of an evil person is that they cannot celebrate anyone sincerely. They are quick to criticize, slow to compliment, and incapable of genuine joy for another's blessing. When someone's heart is poisoned by comparison, gratitude cannot survive there. They measure their worth by your progress, and when you rise, they feel reduced. That's why you must never seek validation from people who compete instead of support. The light of God within you will always irritate the darkness in others. So stop trying to make everyone comfortable with your calling. Some people are not meant to understand your purpose. They are meant to reveal their own hearts through their reaction to it. Evil people crave attention because attention feeds their ego. They will play the hero when watched and the villain when unseen. They do not seek truth. They seek applause. They will do good deeds for the sake of recognition, not righteousness. But remember this, God sees what is done in silence, and He exposes what is done in pride. No matter how well evil disguises itself, the time will come when the mask cracks and the true face beneath will be revealed. God's light does not rush, but it never fails. Every secret eventually echoes. Every lie eventually unravels. You don't have to expose evil. Truth does it for you. Evil people carry the language of division. They plant seeds of suspicion among families, friends, and communities. They will twist words, exaggerate situations, and distort motives to separate those who stand united. Division is the tool of darkness. Unity is the evidence of divine presence. Wherever gossip multiplies, evil is at work. If you want to identify an evil person, listen carefully to what they say when no one else is around. If their words destroy peace and trust, if their stories always put someone else down, then you are standing in the presence of darkness disguised as friendship. Step away. Peace is the proof of God's presence. Confusion is the mark of evil. Sometimes the evil person is not loud. They are quiet, observant, and strategic. They study your routines, your reactions, your weaknesses. They gather information not to help you, but to use it against you when the time is right. These are the serpents of life. Calm, patient, waiting for the perfect strike. But even they are not beyond God's awareness. No plot against you is hidden from the one who watches over your soul. Evil may think it is wise, but its wisdom is foolishness before God. The plans of the wicked may seem strong, but they crumble at the touch of divine truth. Evil people often pretend to have moral superiority. They will point out the flaws of others to distract from their own corruption. They accuse to avoid accountability. They love to speak about justice while practicing deceit. Their righteousness is a performance, their morality a mask. But God weighs the heart, not the words. And when the heart is revealed, the noise of false virtue is silenced by the power of truth. You must learn not to be deceived by appearances. The loudest moralist can be the darkest sinner. The quietest soul can be the purest light. Look not at the speech, look at the spirit. An evil person cannot forgive. They hold grudges like trophies. They rehearse old offenses and keep them alive to justify their bitterness. They say, "I'm over it." But their actions speak otherwise. Their hearts are locked in resentment because forgiveness requires humility, and humility is foreign to pride. When you meet such people, remember, holding on to bitterness poisons the heart, but pretending to have none poisons the soul even deeper. Evil feeds on old wounds. Do not let it infect you. When you forgive, you break the chain that connects you to their darkness. Sometimes evil wears the face of charm. It flatters to gain access, then criticizes to gain control. Charm is not love, it is strategy. A truly good person does not charm, they connect. They do not manipulate, they uplift. Evil people can imitate affection, but they cannot sustain it because real love requires purity, and purity burns them. They will speak with honey but act with venom. They will give you attention, then withhold it to test your dependence. This is not affection, it is control. Do not confuse inconsistency for mystery. Where there is love, there is peace. Where there is manipulation, there is evil. The most painful form of evil is betrayal. It comes not from strangers, but from those who once said they cared. But betrayal is not your defeat, it is your revelation. God allows betrayal to purify your path. Sometimes the hands that feed you are also the hands that bind you. When betrayal happens, do not let bitterness consume you. Let it open your eyes. Those who betrayed you only freed you from future harm. What looked like a wound was a warning. What looked like loss was protection. God removes wrong people through painful exits so that right people can enter through divine timing. Evil often operates through lies. A lie can travel fast, but truth has endurance. Lies must be defended. Truth stands on its own. Lies change shape, truth remains firm. When someone constantly lies, even about small things, know that deception has become their language. Evil cannot survive without falsehood because light destroys its illusion. But God does not need your help to prove the truth. Stay silent and consistent. Time will speak louder than any defense. Those who lie will eventually contradict themselves. Those who live in truth will always stand vindicated. Do not underestimate how much evil hates peace. Evil people cannot rest when they see others calm. They stir problems just to feel relevant. They start conflicts to regain control. They create storms because stillness exposes them. But do not let their turbulence enter your heart. You are not responsible for their unrest. When God is your center, no external chaos can uproot your inner calm. Evil may roar, but it cannot drown out the voice of divine peace within you. You can spot an evil person by how they respond to correction. The humble listen, the wicked react. A wise person reflects, an evil person retaliates. They will twist your concern into offense. They will accuse you of judging them, even when you are merely speaking truth. Their pride will not allow them to change because accountability threatens their illusion of control. But God always gives warning before destruction. Those who reject correction reject protection. And in the end, pride always leads evil to its own downfall. Evil never gives without expecting something in return. It does not know unconditional love. It only knows transaction. You can feel it in the energy. Their gestures are heavy with expectation. They say, I love you, but mean I own you. They say, I forgive you, but never forget the moment to remind you of it. They cannot let go because their ego feeds on power. Do not stay where love feels like a contract. God's love teaches freedom. Where there is manipulation, there is evil masquerading as affection. The deeper truth is this: you will meet evil in many forms, in friends, in workplaces, in families, even in your own thoughts. But every encounter is meant to teach you strength. Evil is not sent to destroy you, it is sent to define you. Without opposition, your discernment cannot grow. Without darkness, your light cannot prove itself. When you face an evil person, do not curse the encounter. Use it as a classroom. Let it teach you how to guard your heart, how to listen to God's whispers, and how to walk away without fear. Do not be surprised if God isolates you. Sometimes He removes you from crowds because He wants to detox your soul from hidden evil. Solitude is not punishment, it is preparation. God hides you to heal you, and when the time is right, He will surround you with those who match your purity, your peace, and your purpose. Evil cannot enter where divine order reigns, so if people fall away, let them. What leaves your life under God's direction was never meant to stay. One of the greatest weapons against evil is humility. Evil thrives in pride because pride blinds. But humility opens the eyes of the soul. When you stay humble, God fights for you. When you try to fight evil through ego, you lose power. Evil knows how to provoke arrogance, but it cannot handle humility. Humility disarms deceit because it does not react, it reflects. Be strong, but stay humble. Be bold, but stay grounded. When you walk in humility, God lifts you beyond the reach of your enemies. Evil wants reaction, not resolution. The more you respond, the more it feeds. The more you ignore, the more it weakens. That is why God teaches silence, not silence of fear, but silence of faith. When you are silent in the face of slander, it is not because you are powerless. It is because you trust that divine justice is already working. Every evil word spoken against you becomes fuel for your elevation. Every false accusation becomes evidence of your endurance. Stay silent and let God speak in His time. You must learn to love wisely. Love without discernment becomes self-destruction. Loving an evil person does not mean letting them destroy you. You can wish them well without giving them access. You can pray for their change without staying close. Even God withdraws His favor from those who persist in wickedness. separation is not cruelty, it is clarity. Sometimes you show the greatest love by walking away, so both souls can breathe truth again. And remember this, the battle with evil is not always external. Sometimes God shows you evil in others so that you recognize and uproot it within yourself. Pride, resentment, jealousy, and greed are small seeds that can grow into the same darkness you condemn. Keep your heart under constant inspection. Speak to God in honesty. Ask Him to cleanse your motives, to purify your desires, to make your spirit untouchable by bitterness. Because when your heart is clean, no evil can manipulate you. You become invisible to their schemes, because light recognizes light, and darkness cannot comprehend it. When you learn how to spot an evil person, you gain more than awareness. You gain protection. You begin to see who truly walks with God and who merely wears the costume of goodness. You learn not to waste tears over betrayal, not to beg for loyalty from the disloyal, and not to fear the loss of anyone whose heart was never aligned with yours. Evil may walk beside you for a season, but it cannot stay forever. God always separates truth from falsehood. Always. And when that separation happens, do not mourn what leaves. Celebrate what remains. Because every time evil exits, purity enters. Every time deceit departs, peace returns. Every time a false friend fades away, space opens for divine connection. That is the rhythm of God's refinement. He subtracts before He multiplies. He removes before He restores. And every exposure of evil is not an ending. It is a new beginning for the soul that walks in truth